And as you know, Azamgarh doesn't have the facilities for higher education. Only this Shibli college is there, and what the youth, I mean someone who has potential, he can't do anything in Azamgarh. So he has to move out. And that's why the boys were going everywhere, and we were happy that they are applying themselves. After the Gulf boom, and then after the frustration with the Gulf, and exhortation by teachers, social activists, that they should apply themselves to the education, because you know, in India every place was vacated. For example, executive, judiciary, you couldn't find Muslims there because Muslims were not studying. And Azamgarh is a place which was very well represented in all the universities and other educational places earlier. I mean, I'm talking about 2 decades or 3 decades back. But in between, with the Gulf boom, everybody started going to the Gulf, and that brought a vacuum which was really harmful for the community. But nowadays the students were applying and they were coming up very well. So this unfortunate incident in Batla House was surely a setback, momentarily. But I don't think that it will sustain, and the students are again trying to go there to the places, and they are applying themselves, and the parents are also gaining confidence that this was just an incident which happened. This is Allah's wish.
Right. Do you think are there students or youth trying to some kind of reaction?
Reaction, see, all over the world the Muslims are being prosecuted and prosecuted as well as persecuted. And I think this can generate 2 kinds of reaction. Either you become violent and you try to retaliate, but there is another kind of retaliation which is not by sword, which is by pen, and pen is mightier than sword. So I think the youth have taken the message well, that they should come up in the earlier traditions, in the earlier Islamic tradition, when the science and other fields were really contributed by the Muslims. Muslims contributed a lot in those fields. So they are really trying to come up in the field of education, and they have come to realize that this is the only path which can bring them knowledge and power.
Muslims in Azamgarh were doing very well in economy and education. Do you think what happened in the last 2-3 months was a well thought out plan to depress them or to push them back to the wall?
Yes, see, after independence, when you see and you try to analyze the communal rights have happened only in those places where Muslim industries were coming up. Like, for example, in Murshidabad. In Murshidabad, the artisans were Muslims, but not the exporters. They were Sindhi. So when artisans tried to come up as exporters, it threatened the middleman, who was not having the skill, who was just trying to exploit the skill and getting a lot of profit. So the riot happened, and then all the places like Bhagalpur and Firozabad, and even here in Azamgarh, Mau, we witnessed a lot of riots, but not in Azamgarh. So what happened that the Muslims, you know, they came up after the riot, after this destruction of property and their businesses, they again came up. So this was just related to the economic factor. And now what happened that somehow I think some people in this country who believe in divisive politics and who believe in destruction and all kind of nefarious designs, so they thought that these Muslims are really resilient and they can come up, so we should go for something deeper, and let's kill their intellectual upcoming. So I think this was a well thought of blow, because when you do something like this, the talented youth of the community, they are being targeted, then this is really a serious thing.
Okay. What's, in your view, is the positive effect of all these developments on Muslim community, particularly youth?
I think we all have been shaken up. These things were happening for a long time, but only some people have realized that where it will go, where it will culminate. And community by and large was just thinking in terms of as stray incidents and not well planned incidents, and they were thinking that these are just happenings, a few happenings here and there. But actually I think from the very beginning, if you analyze deeply, then you can come up to the conclusion that this had to happen someday, and this has happened. But now I think there is no there is no need of telling people that what you have to do, and what is the design of the basic forces, which are really few, because we have been supported by and large by benign Hindu community, and it has come in our support for the right cause.
Professor Salman Sultan Sahab, do you think that now, in the wake of latest developments, people here, particularly Muslims, are thinking about some kind of launching a political platform?
Yeah, I think they are trying to organize themselves, because I just I was thinking in terms of the victory of these fascist forces and who is responsible for that. So if you go into this question, then you can come up with an answer that only secular, so-called secular parties are responsible for the victory of fascist forces, because they divide. The votes are getting divided. There are 2-3 parties or 4 parties, something like that, and everywhere they will put up candidates. So the Muslims are in a dilemma whom to vote. So their vote gets divided, and not only their vote, but all the secular vote gets divided. And then in a democracy, the government is formed by just 30% of votes. So the majority of votes is against them.
As prominent intellectual of the city, and you have seen and you have come across a lot of students and youth of the city. There has been some kind of crime, there has been hawala, no doubt about it.
Yes, yes.
Can you deny that an individual might have gone astray and took to arms?
See, when you talk of hawala, who is encouraging hawala? I remember my brother came over here, and we both went to get some foreign exchange converted into Indian rupee. We met the chief manager of the SBI. And he said, no, it can't be done here in Azamgarh. So we are facing this problem. Why don't you provide the facilities for encashing traveler checks and for encashing all the foreign exchange? So when it can be easily encashed, then people will not go for other ways and means. But I think they are getting cuts. They are being benefited, all these bank peoples and other peoples, and that's why they are not giving this facility, which is so common in other places. So, for your other question that Muslims might have radicalized, I don't think we can deny, but I don't have any proof for that. And maybe some stray cases here and there, but it has not been proved, because all the cases, if you go through all the cases, right from Aftab Alam Ansari to Tariq Qasmi and Khalid Mujahid, right, they all have been exonerated from the courts. And my question is, why not the government of India thinking in terms of compensating them, not only for their economic loss, but for the physical torture, for the torture, mental torture of their family, etc. It's going on and nobody cares.
Dr. Salman Sultan Sahab, hundreds and hundreds of people, Muslims from this city, have gone abroad in Gulf, Middle East, Europe, America, and some countries of Asia, Indonesia and Malaysia also. They have earned a lot of money. Where did they spend?
Most of the money has been spent on construction of houses and big, fascinating religious places, which I really don't like. And some money has been spent on building hospital and recently educational institutions. Like you can see some good educational institutions coming up in villages. For example, in Daudpur, Fatma, Welskoi and Badaria, there is so this kind of educational movement is is being encouraged, and we appreciate that. But a lot of money earned from the Gulf has really gone in baseless constructions and also cases. Because they are fighting among themselves, and when they have got the money, nobody is trying to come to an agreement. So they all are spending in really lavish way on marriages and etc., just to show off.
Right. It is said that the rich people from this city have not spent on public welfare, social welfare. They have not opened any hospital or schools or institutions for particularly Muslim women.
Not
apart from madrasas, apart from madrasas, as far as modern education is concerned, they have not done much.
Not much, not to that extent required. I mean, which is required in these days. So they have not done. Although they could have done that, they could have formed some kind of cooperative also for opening up big factories. So if you spend 60-70 lakhs on just fabulous houses which are storing, food grains, it's not worth. But if you establish a factory, it's going to give a lot of employment.
Right.
And there will not be any distinction. I mean, all will be benefited. It's not that only Muslims will be benefited. All communities will be benefited, and they will respect you. Also, for education like Shibli College, which was established in 1883 as a national school. So we earned a lot of respect just by giving education. Shibli College earned a lot of respect by educating this whole region. And you see, in 1946 it became the degree college when it was affiliated to Agra University. So in those days it was just a dark region, and Shibli College brought the light of education. So this is the way to spend your money if you are earning from the Gulf, and Muslims have not spent to that extent.
Did Azmi's help this institution, 125 years old Shibli College, financially?
See, not much help is required because it is UGC funded. Only thing is required that how you are spending the money. What is your aim and what is your vision? So I'm sorry to say that we lack, our management lacks in that also. Where they should, their priority is different. As you might have seen that some of the buildings over here are really very fabulous. But the real, like we don't have a library for the students, a real library where they can sit and consult books, even for the postgraduate students, which we had earlier. So in this direction, neither we have a good laboratory. So these things are deteriorating, which is really unfortunate.
Another point which has been raised by some people of the verse is that Muslims in Azamgarh have not opened much avenues for their women. They have not been pushed beyond madrasa education to higher education.
No, it's not true. But again, we should say that we have to do a lot of work in that direction. But you can see Shibli College. You are staying here and you can see in Shibli College, I think not less than 3,000, 4,000 girl students are here. So we even have separate classes for the biology where there are more girls. So just for their convenience, we have separate classes. They have a separate common room, and they have separate these windows where they can get their books and other things. So these facilities are being provided here. But of course, we should have, like there is an old Nisma school, but it has not progressed as much as desired. So we should open a lot of further institutions, like Fatma Girls has been opened in Daudpur. So some institutions are coming up, but not to that extent.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salman.